to the next two people who are joining us, and thank you very much. Senator Rob Kane, very good to see you, and Senator Tony Harp, thank you so much. And let me just tell people particularly why we wanted to have you on. Tony Harp is the Senate chair of the Budget Writing Appropriations Committee and serves as the Deputy President pro tempore of the Senate. Rob Kane represents the 32nd Senatorial District, which includes Watertown and surrounding areas, and he is a Senate Deputy Minority Leader and serves as the leading Republican senator, what we also call the ranking member of the General Assembly's Appropriations Committee. So thank you both for joining us. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Senator Harp, just one thing I want to clear up, because there are people who are saying, Mayor DeStefano, after a longest run as the mayor of New Haven, is going to be leaving the job. Wouldn't Tony Harp make a great mayoral candidate?
Well, I might make a great one, but not now.
I thought we'd get that elephant out of the room right off the top. But thank you so much. So, Senator Harp, I'll let you start. Tell me, in the budget that you heard today, where did you see some of the bold initiatives that you would like to hear, and where did you hear some things that you think are going to be a problem for you?
Well, I think that I'm really excited about the biotechnology investment. I think that is where Connecticut is going, and certainly in my neck of the woods in New Haven, biotechnology is king. As a matter of fact, the stem cell grants that we give to Yale University multiply by over 600% in terms of the revenues that they bring into our community. So I'm really excited that the state is moving in that direction. We can connect Yale with UConn and hopefully build this sector and connect it actually to Massachusetts and really be a part of the biotechnology roadway and not be bypassed. So I'm very excited about that.
Do we have a way to pay for that?
Well, it looks like a lot of it's going to be paid for through bonding. And so I'm told that we are not at our bond cap yet and that we still have the ability to do bonding. And so I think that is what you invest in when you borrow, because you are borrowing, but you are really borrowing for the future and building future capacity. So we have the resources for that.
Senator Rob Kane, the word borrowing has been coming up a lot today. A lot of Republicans are saying too much borrowing in this budget. What was your reaction to the governor's speech?
I think that's a great segue into what I would like to say, which is the governor said living within our means, being transparent, being honest, none of which did I see in this budget proposal. It's $1.5 billion in general obligation bonding in the first year, $1.6 in the second year. We have increased spending 9.7% over the biennium. So where are we living within our means? So I disagree with this proposal, and the proposal or the idea that this governor is saying that we are living within our means while Connecticut families are struggling to pay their taxes, to educate their kids, to have a better life. Yet we still have 9% unemployment. We have zero job growth. And he says that we are living within our means. It just doesn't ring true to me.
So living within our means to you would mean what then?
Reducing spending, reducing the size of government. He mentioned consolidating agencies. He mentioned 150 different line items in the appropriations. All they did was consolidate some little items that are in his own budget office, the Office of Policy and Management. The consolidations that he proposes only saves $500,000, and I think it's about 4 positions. We have 60,000 state employees. The government should not be your greatest employer, and so there's very little truth to his budget proposal.
But Senator Harp, there are a lot of economists who would say that in hard economic times, which we surely are in, that government spending is important, and that cutting back on government spending actually puts people out of work and results in unemployment numbers being higher and more people needing government programs to help them.
And I would agree with that. It seems to me that some of what is being done to stimulate growth at the local level, the bridges work, our infrastructure work, will put people back to work. And I believe that government has a place to do that. And as you stimulate those jobs, then I think there's synergies that are developed that can bring more jobs in. So I really do think the government has a role to play in building an economy.
Senator Kane, Senator Harp mentioned the bioscience initiative. I know that when the Jackson Labs proposal was before the legislature, you had some reservations about it. Now that it has come through the legislature and they've actually broken ground, what do you think about it? And is that initiative in biosciences an investment worth making?
I still do, because that's $1 billion over 10 years for 300 jobs. We are picking winners and losers. Take the Bridgewater hedge fund that we've asked them to move 7 miles for giving them $115 million to a CEO who made $4 billion last year. We should be providing real relief to Connecticut taxpayers and small businesses. Small businesses, Diane, make up 80% of our economy. 50% of those or greater have 50 or fewer employees. Yet we continue to put mandates on those small businesses with paid sick leave and other things. So, again, I don't believe we should be picking winners and losers and choosing where our allies should be. We should be allowing a conducive environment for all government to create jobs so we can get everyone back to work. And then you'll see more taxpayers versus more taxes.
Senator Harp, there was a discussion that by not sunsetting a couple of taxes that were due to be sunsetted, that maybe increases the burden, or at least continues a burden on corporations that they were hoping to become free of. How do you do that and still say to corporations, we want you to be here in the state?
Well, I think that they have been paying the taxes, so my assumption is that they can continue to pay the taxes. I think that everyone recognized that when our revenues underperformed, that we had to do something about revenues. And so while he's not increasing taxes, he's also not reducing those by allowing those sunsets to go forward. So I think that's a reasonable response to the problem that we have in our state.
Senator, in your district, you have a lot of people who are living below the median income line for our state. What about the impact of the reduction in the earned income tax credit on them, as well as, and maybe this is more on the positive side, the idea about getting rid of that car tax?
Well, I think that I actually wanted to shout hallelujah about the car tax. New Haven has a high mill rate, and so the same car in Branford would cost, from a tax perspective, almost half of what the people in my town have to pay. So I'm certainly hoping that our Board of Aldermen passes that. I am concerned about the earned income tax credit because, all of those dollars that people get go right back into the economy. It's a wonderful economic stimulus, and I'm hoping that we can have an opportunity to take another look at that.
All right. Senator Kane, I want to give you about 15 seconds to wrap up your thoughts for the day.
Well, I think the most important thing that the governor said was, at the very end, whether you're Republican or Democrat, be a part of the process. I'm hoping that holds true, that Senator Harp and the leaders allow the Republicans to be at that table when we craft this budget. Just 2 years ago, we were not. And we saw the greatest tax increase in our state's history. And we created an alternative budget that had no tax increases. I'm hoping this time around we are a part of the process. We worked well together in the deficit mitigation plan, that we should be a part of the process this time around as well.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, for joining us. I really appreciate it. And, of course, we'll be following everything that your committees do throughout the rest of the process. We are nearing